Now let's look into the next chapter or lesson where we're going to talk about the universal flow design prompt. This will be one template for any flow scenarios. Here's a universal flow design prompt. Save this. It works for any flow scenarios you will ever face. Notice the structure. It asks for the flow type with justification, trigger criteria, step-by-step element list with configuration, variables, decision logic with all the path, best practice to apply, 5 test scenarios and edge cases, 8 specific output from one prompt, and your stakeholder request, add the schema, get a complete blueprint. Let's talk about a real world stakeholder scenario, the kind that you get every week. You may get an email where the request is, when a case is escalated, we need to notify the customer via email, create a task for the manager to call within 2 hours, update the account escalation count, and post to chatter. Just watch how we can take help of Claude. I take the exact email. I will add schema context for case, account, and user. Then use the universal flow prompt, and we will see what Claude output is. So over here, we are saying Claude, design a Salesforce flow for this requirement. This is the exact requirement that we got in an email. We are telling Claude about the schema, about the case, about the account, about the task, about the email template. Then we are saying provide us the recommended flow type, justification, element list, decision logic, and let's send this. So based on the prompt that we have used, Claude is going to recommend the flow type. It is saying that it has to be a record trigger flow on case object. Then it is talking about the criteria. What are the different conditions it has to be met? Then it tells us the step-by-step element list. It tells us we have to create a get record to get the account records. We have to get the contact. We have to check whether the account and contact exists. Then we have to create a task for the manager. While creating tasks, what all the values we need to provide for the different fields on the task. Then it's saying that how we can update the escalation count on the account record. Then we have to post to chatter. For that, it is saying we have to make use of an action. Then it also tells us that we have to make use of a fault path handler. It lists down all the variables that are needed. It tells us a decision logic also, so that when we are building our flow manually, we can understand how it needs to be structured. Then it tells us the best practices. It tells us the scenarios, gives us 5 test scenarios. It also tells us we can always test using bulk gives us some edge cases to consider. Now let's go back to our presentation. So this entire blueprint, we got it in less than 60 seconds. We just talked about it, like what all things Claude generated for us. Similarly, whenever you get a requirement, take for example, we get a requirement when opportunity is close one, create a project record, assign PM based on region, notify customer. Let's copy this. And we are going to create in our workspace. Let's first just copy the requirement. This is our master prompt for flows. Let's copy this. So this is our master prompt. Let's paste the requirement. We have to specify the schema. Let's paste our schema over here. I'll also explain you. So when we are pasting the schema, we are telling Claude about what object we have to use. On that object, which fields we have. Then again, the field, then the object, project object, which field we have to look up. And then we ask them to provide a recommended flow type. And these all the things remains the same. So schema is important. Whenever we are making a request to Claude to generate a flow for us, we need to make sure that Claude shall not hallucinate and understand the schema of the org. So now Claude is generating that blueprint. It is telling that it has to record trigger flow on the opportunity object, telling that these trigger criteria. Stage name has to be close one and the stage name change. Then tells us all the different elements that needs to be created in the flow. We have to create records, get records, decisions, send email action, variable needed. This is how it is printing the entire flow structure for us so that it becomes easy and we can visualize when we are building this in Salesforce. Talking about the best practices, give us the test scenarios. Let us know the edge cases that we need to consider. And it's just asking us to reconfirm the field names. So this is how you can generate a flow recipe using the universal prompt for flow. And once the recipe is generated, then you have to go to Salesforce and create a flow.